Welcome to the podcast, which is all about the world of direct response. Are we on the air? I'm your host, Sean Wilson. For over 34 years now, I've hosted shows on cable shopping networks, and I want to be your guide into this world as we look at the ever-changing nature of these industries, and, oh boy, are they changing. It is Thursday, February 12th, as we record this episode in the year 2026, and I always say go back and listen to the archive of past shows, and many of the things I'll be making reference to in this episode are things that I and guests have kind of predicted might be happening, and they are indeed happening right now. I mean, literally right now, some of these things are taking place. And of course, for those that don't know, here is what I am referring to. I am referring to the headline from 2 days ago. Iconic 39-year-old cable network faces Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Subscriber losses and falling revenue have pushed the once dominant network toward restructuring. And let me stress again, I have to say allegedly, because there is no official bankruptcy filing yet. There are some very good sources who are saying that it's imminent or we're very close to it, which would be imminent. And so, we'll see what winds up happening. But this is just from the street. Back in the 1990s and 2000s, it seemed as if nearly every American had cable. That wasn't true. Cable television peaked at just over 100 million homes in the late 2010s, while the U.S. Census shows roughly 129 total households. Still, for most Americans, for many years, a cable television subscription was table stakes. That was very good for business, where most channels got a few cents, some more, from every subscriber. And that created a system where niche channels survived because people did not have the option to pay for the cooking channel or the entire ESPN bundle. You got whatever Comcast, Charter, or whatever the cable company wanted to give you. This period, especially before the internet became a successful home for retailers, and it was a golden age for home shopping. Both QVC and HSN, now owned by the same company, but once rivals, commanded good spots on the cable dial, allowing them a platform to sell to nearly 100 million homes. Now, as cord cutting took hold, the audience for QVC and HSN has fallen, leaving QVC Group, again, parent company of the two networks, the owner of both home shopping networks, on the verge of Chapter 11 bankruptcy. We've talked about this on past shows. In fact, for a couple of years, I have been saying the biggest problem for QVC is going to be this looming debt, because debt comes due. And last year, they were able to take care of some of the debts that they had, paid them off, that's fine, but the big ones are coming due in 2026. And now they're facing a real serious problem. So let me continue the article. From its height of nearly 100 million households, the cable television universe, meaning everyone, has fallen to under 70 million subscribers, according to data from Cord Cutters News. By the way, I've heard even lower numbers than that. So, I've heard as low as 20 million subscribers now for all of cable. So, who knows? What's driving the mass defection? Well, cost is king. Cable bills ballooned from $96 a month in 2019 to $147 by 2022, while streaming giants like Netflix at $15.49 a month and Disney Plus at $13.99 offer on-demand riches for a fraction of the price. And this exodus has been devastating for the home shopping networks, where QVC and HSN used to have tens of millions of people simply flip by their channels, giving both a chance to captivate them with their wares. About a third of the audience has cut the cord. And the internet has given shoppers many more options, which put QVC Group on the brink of bankruptcy, according to a Bloomberg report. Quoting the news organization Bloomberg, QVC Group is negotiating a voluntary debt restructuring agreement with its creditors that could be implemented as part of a Chapter 11 bankruptcy process as the television shopping network grapple with viewer declines and a heavy debt burden. They're losing money, and that's the bottom line. The CEO, David Rawlinson, is trying to put a positive spin on things. We're saying we're early in our win growth plans. Yeah, they had Project Athens or whatever the hell it was, and that didn't do anything, but continue to make progress. We reduced the year-over-year rate of revenue decline in our Q and H segment, despite the decline in linear television viewership. QVC Group revenue decreased 6% in U.S. dollars and 6% in constant dollars. Now, you can read all these articles online yourself. By the way, there's been, I think, some very inappropriate reporting on this. One of the headlines, clickbait, I have to believe, said, QVC and HSN are going off the air. Well, no, they're not. The bankruptcy filing hasn't even happened yet. And I have been, when people ask my opinion, I've been saying it might be the best thing for the company if they go through a bankruptcy. Shop HQ went through a bankruptcy. They survived a little bit, and under different circumstances, they might still be around. But That is what it is. But a lot of companies have bounced back after bankruptcy. You have Toys R Us announced it was reopening its a flagship store at the Mall of America, and plans to open many more stores this year. Months after shuttering 115 locations due to its parent company Bed Bath & Beyond going bankrupt, buybuy BABY unveiled plans to open 11 closed locations. Century 21, which closed its, not the realtor, but the clothing store, closed its 13 stores in 2020, reopened its flagship in New York's financial district. So there is life after bankruptcy. Now, many times it involves selling your brand, your name to someone else, and then they'll continue it in a different way. So that's always one possibility, because there's still a value to the brand of QVC and HSN, but maybe it involves someone shutting it down and basically restarting it in an online-only way. The fact is, and Marv Segel and I, who will be hearing from again very soon, probably next episode, because it was supposed to be this one. We've discussed many times that QVC never pivoted, didn't pivot correctly, and so now it might be too late. I would point out a couple other things. One, I've always been shocked QVC and HSN didn't do more building their own brands. Shop LC, the smaller shopping network out of Austin, Texas, they're profitable. And that's very unusual in the television shopping universe. And it's mainly because it's an integrated business model, producing their own brands, marketing their own brands, eliminating a lot of middlemen. And I've always been shocked that QVC and HSN are so reliant on outside brands. And I get it. There's a cachet to having a brand name. But look at what Target, Walmart, Dillard's, Macy's, what they all do is they push their own in-house brands. And I think QVC and HSN have done a very poor job of building their own in-house brands. At the end of the day, it's shopping. And I think QVC in particular has taken, and it's really started happening under Barry Diller, this grand approach. This is television. There was a time where QVC almost bought Paramount. They wanted to be entertainment. And I get it, and it worked for a bit. But at the end of the day, you're selling shit, to be blunt. That's what it comes down to. And they really allowed the grandeur of it. Studio Park, I've said many times, you could do QVC out of a garage these days, and Studio Park was a very grand thing to build at the time. So maybe the focus, if someone does buy QVC, let's assume they go through bankruptcy, have to go to bankruptcy court, someone steps in, they buy it, they could shut the whole thing down and just keep it going as an app or an online, a TikTok thing. QVC is doing well with TikTok. So the grandeur of it with massive warehouses and these massive studios could completely change. Because if you look at the business model Shop LC has, and again, full disclosure, 4 days a week, I'm a show host at Shop LC, but they're turning a profit. So there is a way to make the industry work, even though there's cord cutting. QVC doesn't have the over-the-air homes that Shop LC does, which really took off for Shop LC after Shop HQ went down, and they bought most of those homes. QVC could have come in and done that and bought the over-the-air homes, but no. So there's a lot of ways that they could have pivoted. When Amazon, Marvin and I are going to talk about this, in fact, in just a little bit, because I just want to explain this. The reason I'm doing this whole preface before we get to the Marvin interview is because we actually pre-recorded this a little bit ago, never anticipating that the bankruptcy would be this close. And you'll hear us discuss what 2026 might have in store for QVC. And we do discuss the possibility of a bankruptcy. So just keep that in mind. We're going to be speaking as though this hadn't happened yet, because when this was recorded, none of this had happened yet. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But now I do want to pick up with the start of my interview with Marvin Segel. His dad founded QVC in the 1980s, and we're just picking up as it's 2026, and what does the future hold for QVC? Okay, joining me now as we enter a new year is our good friend Marvin Segel, who owns the record easily now for the most visits to this podcast. So it's just because I had Manuela on last year, and I was speculating. I don't know, one of you two. No, you definitely win because this is, I don't know, 6th, 7th, whatever it is. So thank you for coming back with us. But last time we chatted, we were talking about looking back, where things are going. I want to get the crystal ball out to a point, to a degree, because we had started last time we chatted. We talked briefly about Shop HQ, who went through their own troubles. They came back, looked like things were going okay, and then they vanished, and then they came back as an online-only presence. So now as we get into 2026 and we start thinking about what's going to happen in the future, you were involved in an online thing. In fact, we talked about you and Paul Kelly, because Paul Kelly was involved in an online-only thing, probably too early for its time. How is an online-only, putting TikTok out of the equation as best we can, how is an online-only thing going to work in 2026?
Well, it is working, and that's TikTok, and that's online only.
Yeah.
And TikTok works really, really well. We had Star Shop. Star Shop was celebrity-based shopping, and it was a partnership. We were 30% owned by Sprint. Most people don't realize that this screen, I don't know what you're going to, I know we're a podcast, but that home screen, when you get a phone,
right,
when you first turn it on from the carrier controls what's on that screen, which is very interesting.
So the AT&T or the T-Mobile, whatever. Is that what you mean?
Yes, they control. Now, hold that thought. They control the screen. So they put on the Star Shop app was on your home screen when you got a phone from Sprint. We had an advantage.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Now this gets even more interesting. And this blew everybody's mind. Very stodgy, big, giant corporate, I think the largest retailer in the world, Walmart, right?
Right.
I don't know if you caught this. Walmart bought Vizio last year, the TV company.
I did read that's right. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Okay. So think about what I just said to you. Not only can now Walmart make sure that whatever their Walmart app is preset on the screen as an app when you turn your TV on, they can control who's not there. So that is the new wild, wild west. We were ahead of our time with Star Shop. Walmart, when Walmart did that, I think everybody went, excuse my language, holy shit. They just changed the whole shopping dynamic when they did that. And I was blown away. I heard rumor of it, and I go, nah, it's never going to happen. And they literally bought Vizio. And they're now controlling what's on that screen when you turn on your TV. That is game changing. And you think about it,
It's so funny you say that, because literally just a week ago, we had my mother-in-law in town, and I have an old Vizio TV that's in the guest room, and she went to go watch Netflix, and none of the apps were working anymore on that TV, so we had to go grab an Apple TV and plug it in. Makes sense now. Walmart has control over those things, so that is an interesting, like you said, game changer. So if someone can find a way, go ahead.
Yeah, so you need to actually change how the world is shopping. Walmart has done it. TikTok has done it. TikTok, when they came over from China, actually hired an LA-based company that was already getting products for them in the US and doing it very well. They created a marriage with them. So, it's the whole thing is being shook up right now. And in my opinion, QVC has really not made a pivot. Go back, Sean, and the reason you and I get along so well is that we respect each other.
Yeah.
And we work together at Shop NBC. But if you go back 35 years ago, and you can pull that up on YouTube, and you look at what the two-shot looked like, the two-shot is the host and the guest, other than the hairstyle changing and maybe the clothing changing, it's the same two-shot. It hasn't changed. They haven't done anything differently at all in 35 years. And there are classic stories of companies that don't pivot. And it's really a shame. And I've talked about this in the past. I've lectured on it where, you go back to Xerox at the Park campus. And I love the Park campus I quote one of the senior guys there, and I love this quote, and it is, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. Yeah. And very few companies are now doing that. Amazon is an example of a large company that has pivoted over and over and over again. God bless Jeff Bezos. I mean, he's amazing at what he's done, but most companies have not. So at the Xerox PARC campus, they thought copiers were going to become obsolete. In their campus, their innovation campus, they invented what we now call GUI, the graphic user interface. But they didn't know what to do with it. They invited in 2 college kids. This is a documentary. You can find it online. Who were the 2 college kids? Bill Gates and Steve Jobs.
Oh, my God.
Bill Gates saw the computers networked in the office. They didn't have the internet. They had intranet back then. And he went, oh, that's really cool. And he left with that. They let him leave. Steve Jobs saw they were using icons, pictures of things, to make a computer do something rather than writing code. That became Apple. But Xerox itself didn't do anything. The other classic story, which I reposted recently on social media, there was a senior engineer at Kodak that went up to the executive committee with the first digital camera. And the executive committee said, that'll never work.
Oh, come on.
And they went bankrupt. So, I mean, there's example after example of that happening in business. And, Amazon, God bless them, Walmart buying Vizio. Whoa, that was a wake-up call. And I think it's going to take something very dramatic. Is it Walmart buying QVC? But again, you still have the debt situation. And no one's going to look at them unless the debt is not there. That's the problem. And I think that becomes that's one of the nails in the coffin. And it kills me because if my father was still alive, I mean, it would kill him. I mean, literally, it's, when QVC in the early days, under my father's leadership, literally had no debt. They're now $5 billion in debt. That's insane.
Yeah. But there's still, like, I was chatting with Manuela on a previous one and about her arrival at HSN, and it was very successful for her. They broke all their goals that they, because every show, for those who don't know, every show has goals that they expect the guest and the host to meet. They blew away their goals, so they were very happy with the numbers. So there's still a place for someone to sell volumes of merchandise on television. I'm a young up-and-coming, I'm fresh out of college, I've got the next big thing. Let's use skincare as an example. How am I, in an online world, in a world where my customers are holding a phone more often than not, how am I best suited to reach them as a young up-and-coming Manuela, using her story with the blender in her kitchen, in her apartment? How am I going to achieve that level of success in an online world?
You see it every day on QVC that a great product with a great story, with a great guest will do well. Halo did almost 100% of its goal over the weekend. Those amazing, jump starters, air compressors.
I own one. I've fallen for it. Believe me, I own one. Yeah, it's a great product.
No, I bought one. I bought one for my wife. I have one in my car. It's just that peace of mind that you have it. But a product that has a story. I mean, this is a product. I'm not trying to sell it on your show. This is a product I'm very familiar with. I can put a link up I'll give you a link if you want.
Do it.
But this is a product based on cell signaling. So the concept, if you think about it, Sean, is that why is it different as we get older? Like if you're 12 and you fall and you scrape your knee, it's basically okay the next day, right? Mm-hmm. But as we get older, we don't heal as quickly. It's your cells lose their ability to communicate. That breaks down. This product actually helps to improve your cell signaling. I'll give you the link offline, and if you want to put it there, and I'll send you a tube. Actually, give me your email, your address, and I'll send you a tube for free.
Deal.
But it really is a great product, and a product with a great story like that will do well. Halo does well. Manuela does well. Why? Because she's iconic. She's like, somebody who appears on Vegas. Yeah. Everybody knows her when you go to Vegas. Manuela is the real deal. She makes the product, formulates the product, and is the expert on air. I mean, you can't get anybody more connected to the product. And I hate to say for her age, what is she like? I think 60. I think she brags
I
about it
think
on
so.
there.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's amazingly gorgeous. But funny story. At Shop NBC, they would occasionally complain the TV sales managers that Manuela didn't wear enough makeup, and I would say you're missing the point. She doesn't need makeup. Her skin is that good. They were missing the what really made her so authentic, and she is that way still. She doesn't over makeup herself. She is very attractive, carries herself really well spoken. So that works. So I would always say if the product can demonstrate well on TV, if it's got a great story, it can do well. There are products that still do $10,000, $12,000 a minute on QVC, which is unbelievable in today's world, even with the numbers being down. I mean, I go back to, Light Bites. When I was on air, Light Bites would regularly do $20,000 to $25,000 a minute.
Wow.
I mean, it was insane. We had a last IT weekend, and for those that don't know that, that's the last time at the introductory price. So we were on a bunch of times every weekend. We did 2.5 million over a weekend of Light Bites. I mean, wow. Insane. Now, can you still do those numbers? No, but you can do really, really well in today's world. And if the vendor thinks about it correctly, it's a great chance to actually expose your product to something like, 60, 70, 80 million homes and have no cost of advertising.
You used a term last time we chatted that I've made a note because I love it, organic content. Yeah. And I've always argued that people are watching in their living room on a 75-inch television. You need to have 4K pictures. You need to have HD images. And the more I've replayed that in my head, I'm wondering if that is an outdated thinking on my part. Look, if I'm watching an Astros game, that's live. Yeah, I want to see that in 4K. But if I'm buying a tube of skincare, maybe I don't need a 4K image on a 75-inch screen.
I'm going to agree and disagree.
Okay.
I think 4K is the expected standard, and we're going to think it's out of focus if it's not 4K. I'll give you an example of the organic. Many, many years ago, a dear friend, Dan Hughes,
yes,
doing the morning show, had a hammock that he's laying in the hammock. Murphy, remember when QVC had a dog? Yes. Murphy runs over to him. Why? Because his wife trained Murphy. So, Murphy saw his dad and jumps on Dan Hughes on the hammock, and Dan flips and falls on the ground.
Of course he does.
That's great TV.
Yes, it is.
And that's the point, And that type of fun content. Now I'll pick on Dan Hughes again because he's done stand-up comedy. Dan Hughes was demonstrating one of those like kind of air bubble things. You would lay, it's a mat, you'd lay in the bathtub to kind of give it a fake jacuzzi kind of effect.
Oh yeah, okay. And now I know what you mean.
Okay. Yeah. And Dan made some comment of when I was younger, all we would do is, eat beans and then get in the bathtub, and Allie Carr. You remember Allie Carr?
Yes, I know her well. Yeah, good friend. Yeah.
So she actually went viral this weekend.
I know. I saw the moment. Yes, I know. Go ahead. Explain.
Okay. Yeah. Asking Alexa to fart on TV, and it made a fart. It was hysterical, and that's the type of viral moment that has been missing from TV.
Yeah. No, it's funny you say that because I had been texting Allie just a few days ago, and then all of a sudden she saw that happened. Because I was telling her I always watch her Saturday morning show because I have it on in the morning on Saturdays when I'm cleaning. It's like background noise, and I saw her do that. And again, that goes back to maybe I am the outdated customer. I have it on a Saturday morning. It's my ritual as background noise. Who's doing that anymore? As we discussed previously, I think it's like I am searching for skincare. I'm searching for an Alexa device or whatever. I'm not just going to have QVC on for 3 hours as I'm cleaning. I'm going to go hunting for those products.
It's funny you say it that way, and we were just talking about it. In the very early days, going back 30-something years ago, my father actually thought that QVC would be a bank of channels. So, and like there'd be a 24 hours of electronics, 24 hours of beauty, 24 hours of fashion. So you could tune in to this, whatever sub channel of QVC you wanted, to get all that content 24 hours a day. Because I'll be sexist. A woman probably wants beauty or fashion, and a guy maybe wants electronics or auto, whatever the case is. That's why I think when you and I did the Griot's Garage show on Shop NBC, it was a great show because if you were a car person, that you were getting the best car care advice without question. But again, those days are long gone. There's nobody around anymore that remembers how QVC got so big. And I get asked that question all the time. Like, what happened? How did QVC get so big? And now what happened to them? I used to go around with QVC, with Tova Bordenine, with Cactus Jack, you name the iconic characters that were on air. And we would do the Southern Women's Show, and we would have a big booth in front of the QVC bus. Where's the bus anymore? They don't have it. They gave up on that stuff. There's a reason the QVC got big. My father had billboards, traditional billboards. What did the billboard say? Go home and shop with the QVC logo. That was it.
Yeah.
They don't do that. They forgot what got them where they are now.
It's funny you say that. I had mentioned on the last time we chatted about this Business Insider article, the first paragraph of that article before it goes into TikTok and making money online, the first paragraph says, if you watched TV, hang on, I need my new glasses. If you watched TV at odd hours in the 1990s and early 2000s, you probably remember QVC, the home shopping network selling viewers, blah, blah, blah. It's like they're already talking in a past tense, like QVC doesn't exist.
Right. It's unfortunate. It really is, because what made them what they were, nobody's around anymore. I would say to you, there's maybe a handful, literally less than 5 people that were there 30 years ago.
Yeah. Now, again, as much as I want to look forward, I still have to look back, because we had talked earlier about QVC and their awful numbers in the previous year. As of the date of this recording, they've not released the full year numbers yet, and probably haven't by the time this is posted. I'm going to be blunt. This is kind of a rude way to ask the question, but I'm going to be blunt. How the hell does the CEO still have a job?
I've spoken to David Rawlinson a couple times. In almost any corporate world, and I know a dear friend of mine is the past president of L'Oreal US. Nobody after a year of that would have been there.
Right.
Not only did he have a 3-year contract, but they just renewed his 3-year contract for another 3 years. So I don't know what is going on. I have no idea. Nothing against David Rawlinson, nothing against his team, but somebody, it's not somebody, it's John Malone. John Malone must believe in something that is going on, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can figure out. But in a normal corporate world, I agree with you. That would not have taken place. I don't understand it. And again, nothing against the guy. I've had a couple of conversations with him. I really want to help him out. I want to help out the company, but it's not doing it. I mean, it's, that customer, again, go back to the existing customer count is down 10%. Every other number follows that number. That's it. It's that simple. I mean, unless you can get that customer count up, nothing else is going to matter. You can squeeze the margin all you want. All you now do is remove one of QVC's core values, because now they don't have a great value anymore. My wife, even though I tell her that you're paying for shipping if it doesn't show, it's built into the cost of goods. She doesn't care. She doesn't want to see a shipping price of any number. Mm-hmm. And so that's a model. They're starting to change that a little bit, but still, they occasionally show shipping. I mean, I don't pay shipping on anything.
Right.
You buy on Amazon Prime, you don't pay shipping. Yeah. It's just it's the nature of the beast. But everything pivots around the customer count. Yeah. That's the bottom line. And what really needs to happen, I'm not making a political statement, but it became the acronym of MAGA, Make America Great Again. I could say to you, we have, a MQGAA, make QVC great and affordable again. And that's if we want to make up hats and start a campaign, that's really what it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, to make QVC great and affordable again, to make it where there's a value. I never make a comment there, but QVC Unfiltered, which is a very interesting chat group.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're constantly complaining about the prices of products.
Yeah.
Where you can go to Costco and buy it cheaper, or they see it cheaper at Walmart. I mean, the customer is very sophisticated. They have a tool in their palm of their hand. It's called a phone. And they immediately, when something comes on air, they go to Safari or Google, and they can see what that item is someplace else.
Yeah. As we look into the new year, because here's my thing about shipping. I ordered something from HSN literally a week ago, a throw. I paid, I think, $3.99 shipping. That didn't bother me as much. What's bothering me is the fact I don't have it. It's been a week. I ordered a Kindle from Walmart on Black Friday. I had it the next day. So are we living in a world where I need it now, or I need free shipping? Or is it all of that?
We need instant gratification. And I 100% agree with you. And I think some retailers let Amazon have the next day ride for a while. And certainly in a major city in New York, I can order from Apple. And if I want to pay a couple dollars, it literally arrives within 2 hours. 2 hours.
That's fantastic.
I mean, that's insane. So I think no shipping or shipping with a value. I'll go back to another story at our old stomping ground at Shop NBC. I would order an Invicta watch when they were really prestigious and they were really something, not where they are now. And, I ordered a watch. It was $1,000. I was like, oh, I want this right away. I want it, let me get expedited shipping.
Right.
I think back then it was $24.
Yeah.
It took a week to get to me. It's like, what the hell? I mean, that's insane. And for some reason, the shopping channels have not been able to do the Amazon model. I don't understand it. I really don't. Even the vendors that drop ship, Sean, ship out next day. So yeah. I don't know why there's a delay. I have no idea.
Oh, my gosh. Well, again, the conversation I know is going to continue. We've got an interesting road ahead. We'll see where it takes us. Real quick, though, Marv, what's going on in your world these days?
I am still very, very active in helping get products to QVC. You mentioned Manuela. Manuela reached out to me, and I helped her through one of the product rep companies, Media One, get into HSN, and that went successfully. I probably have a pipeline of about 8 products that are going through the system. Nobody really knows I'm behind them or helped. But I'm doing that. There's another product. Actually, do I have it behind me? No. There's the term of probiotics.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. There's a probiotic air dispenser that dispenses probiotics into the air. Really cool concept.
Wow.
Actually, you know what? When you send me your email address, I'll send you one of these, and I'll send you a probiotic. I have an extra in the drawer.
I would love that.
And I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. This, I'll provide you in a text message, the link you can put up for this.
Sure.
But I mean, I've always been involved with great products. So I get probably 1 or 2 phone calls a week of somebody that has something really unique. And that's what I love about my career, is that I will see things that I never knew before. So to answer your question, I'm still helping get products on QVC. I'm still dabbling in the encryption cryptocurrency space. And I always keep busy. I've said I will die at my desk. I don't ever want to retire.
Oh, my God. What a visual. But yes, knowing Marvin like I do, it's probably true. Marvin, I'm so proud to call you a friend. You're an amazing person and a great human being, and I appreciate that. So thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening to this incredible episode of our We On The Air. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss a show. And you can listen to that archive of past shows that I mentioned earlier. Hope you'll follow me on X, Facebook, and YouTube at Sean Wilsey, and on Instagram at SWilsey. Thank you so much for downloading this edition of our We On The Air.
Yes, I know, Travis. That's why we give such bargains.
Copyright 2026, King Bobby Productions, all rights reserved.